Disney Channel original Disney Channel original movies are either the most perfect nostalgia or the worst piece of shit that you will watch. Twas the Night was one of those pieces of shit that I watched recently. This movie came out in 2001 and stars Bryan Cranston and some other people. The kid from Sex Drive, which that movie sucked too. But this movie was just, oh my god, it was so rough as far as, and at the same time it was kind of endearing. What I'm about to say is all out of love for cinema more so than anything, and I guess like a, you know, sometimes shitty movies have their charm. But this movie was so refreshingly bad as far as how you could tell how everybody was trying. The funniest thing about watching a terrible movie is when it's actually got effort put into it. And this is one of those, like, you could tell they were really trying. And that's like it's like the fucking best thing to witness. And also extremely sad to watch when you see Bryan Cranston in it and it's like, wow, like this guy at the time was doing Malcolm in the Middle. This was 7 years before he started doing Heisenberg, Breaking Bad, his like greatest role of his career. And it's just so lovely to see even someone as amazing as Bryan Cranston, he had done Seinfeld already before this. Like, he was an actor, an established like actor at least. And it's so refreshing to see even he has done bullshit movies, or, you know, not everyone's resume of their work history is gonna be all tens, I guess. So with Bryan Cranston in this film, like, my favorite thing was his acting and seeing him try. Like, this guy did he's like such a good actor as far as like he will always do his job. He fulfilled his job so much as far as in this movie, he's the only reason to watch it at all. He's the only thing bringing life to any scene, only person that, you know, was just putting in so much effort for what I'm sure he knew at the time was one of the, like, just one of the most half-assed, terrible scripts. The writing of this movie is so bad. The story is basically Bryan Cranston plays this criminal who, like, steals shit, and it was like I was watching this, and then Kiss Kiss Bang Bang into this was like, what's up with like all these thieves, you know, all these people stealing shit in movies in the 2000s. He's basically a thief who's like on the run from people, and when he and his nephew, the main kid or whatever, the main character, the kid from Sex Drive, I don't know his name. Who cares? So basically he and the nephew are like best friends, and the nephew talks about how like he's the coolest uncle in the world. So they're just chilling. He's babysitting his nephew and his siblings or whatever. And Santa gets into some sort of accident. Something triggers the accident. Bryan Cranston has a computer that basically fucks with Santa's sleigh is powered by a computer in this movie, I suppose. So his thing, very similar to like what happens with the hatch in Lost, his shit like messes with with Santa's computer. Santa crashes down, and after he crashes into place, he basically drops this little device that lets them like pause time and shrink things. This movie's like very all over the place. Just explaining it feels so fucking. I feel like I haven't even gotten high yet today, and I feel like I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about right now. That's how all over the place this movie actually is. But they have this device, and they realize that it's the real Santa Claus. So then they decide to save Christmas, the typical, oh no, Santa is incapacitated, we have to save Christmas now. How many fucking times have you seen this story? You know, I don't know like which movies came before or after, but around in 90s, 2000s, that was like the Christmas movie cliche. Oh, we gotta save Christmas. I mean, holy fucking shit. It's so funny just how cliched this piece of shit is. So they have to save Christmas. Bryan Cranston's character, being like the thief that he is, sees this as an opportunity to shrink all of he pauses time and shrinks all of the really expensive, nice objects like pianos and stereos and all this stuff, and he shrinks it so that he can stuff it in he basically dresses up as Santa Claus and has the bag and pretends to be Santa and all that. So he basically shrinks all these things and starts stealing all of this shit. The kid finds out eventually and says like, "Oh my God, we're done." It's like this forced, serious moment of like, "Wow, Uncle Bryan Cranston, you ruined our relationship by being a thief and stealing all of this shit." And in the end, I think it's like a typical, like in the end, he learns his lesson and then gives everything back and makes up for it, and he gets off of Santa's naughty list. And then the whole point of the movie is Santa realizes there's a gray area and maybe things shouldn't be categorized into nice or naughty, especially kids were being, that's the whole point of the movie. That's it, is that there's people are gray. Because we've never seen that before in storytelling, right? Oh my God, the complexities of mankind. Oh my God. So, that's the movie. Everything I just said, that was it. Bryan Cranston, he was like the best part of this movie because of how much I was watching him act his ass off. This guy was Bryan Cranston in this movie. I've never seen someone work so hard for it to be such a futile effort in the end, for this movie to be unwatchable and just one of the worst. It's just one of the most like rough movies that I've watched. And having said that, no joke, like I actually was entertained by it, and I was enjoying how bad it was. Nowadays, when we see like TikTok stars and a lot of people making stuff that like they know it's bad, the producers know it's bad, the audience knows it's bad. I don't like that shit. I like when someone like The Room, Tommy Wiseau, and when someone is like actually trying to make a movie that's good and then it ends up being bad. What I loved about this, or what was actually very entertaining about it, is how much effort you could see from not only from Bryan Cranston, but just, like in the 90s and 2000s, it's like just being in a movie was a whole thing. I assume, I was never in one, but like you could tell that this was a movie that everyone was like just kind of hanging out and having fun and enjoying themselves and didn't really care. Like they all knew, I'm sure, that this was not going to be that good of a movie, but they were trying anyway. It's like some Kafka-esque kind of thing where it's like it's all futile, but you have to try anyway. And that was like the lovely thing about this flick. One thing that stood out to me so much, the one reason why you should watch this movie, not only for Bryan Cranston's just countless efforts and why he literally deserved something like Breaking Bad to like put all of his efforts into. You could see like even Malcolm in the Middle, as much as I love that show, like anyway, I'm derailing here. The one memorable thing besides Bryan Cranston is the youngest kid brother, who looks like Beans from Even Stevens, and I think he's a little too old to be playing the role that he's playing. I think the kid looks like he's 10 or 12 years old, at least like double digits at the time, 10 or 11, 12 years old, and he's like, I think literally supposed to be playing like a toddler. Like the kid is like sucking on like a binky at some. He's like literally a kid in middle school playing a baby, and it was the most off-putting fucking thing I've ever seen. I have never watched a movie and hated an actor so much as I hated this fucking kid in this movie. Because not only was he just miscast and playing a role, like this is supposed to be a little kid with like a blankie, a little like in a onesie pajama out. Like that's what it felt like from what I was seeing from the writing, at least. Like the kid, every bit of dialogue the kid had felt like a baby was talking, and it was just so off-putting to see a kid. Like I was thinking the whole time, like, is the character or the actor himself, like, are they on the spectrum? Are they actually like mentally challenged and shit? That's how fucking weird and off-putting this kid was. He also had an accent at some point. I'm watching the movie and I'm like, did this kid in the middle of the movie decide to start doing an English accent, like a British accent? I don't know if it was because he was trying to do like a baby talk kind of thing to like I'm assuming the director or one of the producers or somebody told him, well, you're playing, a lot younger, so you should talk like a baby or talk like a little kid, and it came off as him sounding fucking British or something. But I have never hated a character, especially like a child. It takes a lot for, even though I hate kids generally, kids are just kind of annoying. I think kids are really adorable and really funny in a lot of ways too, but most of the time kids are just kind of a burden in my eyes. And it takes a lot for me, even despite feeling that way, it takes a lot for me to like hate a kid in cinema or hate like a young character or child actor, because they're just kids. It's child stars. Any kid that's in the industry in general, it's like hard to not sympathize with them, as we're seeing obviously with all this shit that we see as far as how every child star basically had a fucked up life, So what I mean is it takes a lot for me to hate a character that age or an actor. I fucking hated every frame, every millisecond that this kid was on screen so much. Not even him, like not even the actor himself, but just like the sheer like direction. Like the director fucked up, the writers, the casting fucked up. That this kid being in the movie at all was a giant fail, and it was like so distractingly bad. I mean, this kid was so like uncomfortably bad. So uncomfortable. And then there's scenes where he's like interacting with the mom and pretending to be like the cute kid and sitting on her lap, and like their chemistry was weird. Like it was just very bizarre to see this like kind of chunky like big kid sitting on his mom's lap. Again, it was just the fact that they had this kid acting like he was a baby that was so off-putting, so fucking weird, and I hated it so much. Like, I hated it so fucking much. But if you have Disney Plus, definitely watch this movie, and I hope that somebody out there agrees with me on this, because I've never hated a movie, and also I hated this movie so much, and I also found it so just fascinating because of everything I'm talking about right now. Like, it had my attention. I wanted to finish it. Normally, like, if a movie is that bad, it's all right, let's watch something else, turn it off. I wanted to finish it because I was so... I mean, it's like a train wreck. It's like a train wreck you can't watch. You can't look away from. And that was such an interesting experience. I hadn't felt that. I haven't felt this feeling in maybe 20 or 25 years, where it just was very reminiscent of when I was a kid and it was 1 or 2 in the morning and there's literally nothing on TV. I was like, I've been the kind of person that stays up till 5, 6 a.m. ever since I was a kid. So 1 or 2 in the morning when there's nothing to do besides watch TV in the 2000s or whatever, like basically this movie reminded me of when I'd be watching movie or TV show late at night and there was nothing else on and it was kind of shitty and it was kind of bad, but it's just kind of something to pass the time, and it's something to it's just something. Like, this movie it's just something. It's just a movie. There's nothing redeemable about it. There's nothing interesting about it besides these things that I'm talking about. The movie itself is so uneventful and so forgettable. And there's kind of something beautiful about that. I will always say, as much as I like hate this movie and hate this kid and feel bad for Bryan Cranston for being in this legitimate like dog shit production, as much as I am feeling so passionate about that, I love that things exist. I would rather this movie exist than it not exist. I would much rather the movie exist with a better script and a kid that's not playing, he's not 10 years old playing 4. You know, I would love to see that, but what I've realized recently is excluding all the garbage AI slop and TikTok content on the internet, so many things deserve to exist, and so many things are awesome. Like despite being forgettable or not very, just not good, I think it's so important for these types of movies to exist, and I'm grateful to experience them because they only help shape my love of cinema that much more. Like, watching bad movies will always, listening to bad music, experiencing shit that sucks will always make you so grateful for things that are good. It's like when you're in a relationship for multiple years and you're in love with the person, you're like, think this person's amazing, you break up, and the first date you have after that breakup is like the worst kind of person ever, and makes you appreciate what the relationship was. Not that you know, it's one of those, this is one of those movies where it's like, oh, you have a date that's so bad it reminds you of what true love is like. That's what my relationship with cinema is when I watch something so bad, I'm like, oh god, but like, this is why every other movie that I've seen, or most movies that I've seen, you know, that's not this is why I love them so much. So that's like a really lovely feeling. That's kind of an underrated feeling. Watching something that sucks, the only downside is that it's a waste of your time, your finite, limited time that you have as a human being on planet Earth. That's the worst part, is that you could have spent that time watching something else. And but I don't know, you know, anything being made at all, especially anything made man-made, not AI and shit nowadays. Anything made at all. Like, I'm still grateful for this movie and to exist, to give me this memory, to give me this video, to talk about this right now. That's what's so lovely about these things as well. And I always just want to make sure. I get so many people that give me shit about the Street Dreams video I made, and it was just supposed to be like humorous, just being a dick for the sake of being a dick. But seeing how much everyone loves that movie kind of like reshaped how I feel about it now. And my point with all this is that when you love something, when you love entertainment enough, or when you really are so passionate about certain things, you'll cherish every experience you have with all of it. I love movies and TV shows so much that even the ones that have disappointed me and even the ones that I didn't like, I still liked them, or I still like got something from them. And that's the difference if you like something versus if you really love it. If you love something, truly, are just obsessed with it, you'll embrace and try to take something away from every experience you have ever. This movie gave me the experience of wow, this is why there are only like 7 holiday classics, because every other one is a piece of shit. You know? So we're going to be watching Elf, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, A Christmas Story, Bad Santa, The Holiday. Like, we're going to watch all of these, like those 5 to 10 movies. It's a Wonderful Life is honestly my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It's a Wonderful Life. If you haven't watched that, watch that movie. And then go watch 'Twas the Night. And then let me know what you think. But Christmas movies are hard to make. I think I've realized. I've tried writing things based off of like a holiday, and it's extremely tough as far as how you're forced into this box of like, well, it has to be a Christmas movie, or it has to be this holiday movie. And that's hard. Like, that's really hard to make a Christmas movie, or that's gonna... I mean, when that movie came out, in 2001, How the Grinch Stole Christmas literally came out, Jim Carrey just destroying it. Fuck you if you don't think that movie is a classic, because How the Grinch Stole Christmas is like one of the greatest Dr. Seuss adaptations and one of the best performances of Jim Carrey's career. And the Christmas vibes are like max to an 11 out of 10. And that's really all we want from Christmas movies. 'Twas the Night was a movie about like a criminal, and Santa was there, and everyone was just kind of there, but it didn't feel like a Christmas movie. Didn't feel like a good children's movie. Didn't feel like anything other than me using it as this lovely talking point in this video and talking about how bad it was for the last 17 minutes. I think I've said everything else I needed to say. One thing that I should mention, the kid's sister, the main character's younger sister, there's like 3 siblings. There's him, and then the mentally challenged weirdo fucking toddler waste. And then there's like the middle like sister. One thing I want to mention is I love how there's always like the younger sister is like the genius of the family. Like, everyone copies that like Lisa Simpson approach. This little girl who's like, I think even younger than the kid that's her younger brother. She looks like she's like 6 or 7 years old. And she's like this crazy genius that fixes Santa's sleigh somehow, knows how all of this shit works, like advanced computer technological science shit. And she knows all this stuff, and it's so like they don't explain how or why she's like this genius. They don't give any reason. It just is. And it's like so funny how, you know, when it comes to writing stories, like, you need that all-encompassing... This movie was like all of these archetypes or all of these like cliches without any like weight behind. Like, there was zero like complexity behind any of this story. There was zero, and that's what's fun about children's movies of the 90s and 2000s, is that's all that it was. Watching movies like Three Ninjas and all that crap, like, these movies were all like so surface and made with the assumption that kids are really, really fucking stupid. Which is why it's such a relief to watch something like Pixar or Disney Channel or original movies that are good, or any movie at the time that... I mean, the key to making a good children's movie... That'll always work. It's like Shrek. You have to do the Shrek approach where it's appealing to kids and adults. Shrek, I would still watch that now. The movie is it's a fucking classic. Shrek is one of the like best children's movies ever made because of its universal appeal, or that wide range appeal. And that's what this should be. That's what children's movies should be. 'Twas the Night was a movie made by brain dead adults for brain dead kids. That and I just wonder why it exists. This is one of those movies, as much as, even though I was saying how endearing it is, how much I love that it exists, it just, why does it exist? I'm not saying I have a problem with it, but like how did it lead up to it actually, what led up to it actually being made? I don't fucking know. But the lovely thing about 90s, 2000s stuff, the reason I'll always bring that up is it's not only like my roots of why I love everything and my life being at like I was very spoiled in that era is all because of all the good shit that was happening. But at the time, there was just so much stuff being made, and a lot of it was very forgettable just because of how, how bad it is. And this was one of those movies. I think that's all I got to say about it.